Joining us right now on the Daily Dose, a longtime friend of mine and a longtime friend of the Daily Dose, Raymond from DC, has been calling into the Daily Dose going clear back to the radio days. Raymond is a big-time Buffalo Bills fan, and you just know after that beatdown the Bills gave the New England Patriots in the NFL playoffs, you just know he's going to be fired up. Raymond, welcome back to the Daily Dose. How are you feeling today?
I'm really good. Good times. Good to see you, Clint. It's a great time to be a Buffalo Bill fan.
You know, the best part about having Raymond on is he could just talk about pretty much any sporting event. He follows a lot of things, as a lot of our guests do. So while I definitely want to get to the NFL, I want to let Raymond rant about his Buffalo Bills eventually. Might even have a few questions about how he became a Buffalo Bills fan. We have a lot of things to get to today. Raymond, we are going to get to the NFL in just a minute. But college basketball is rolling along right now. It is wide open. We saw number one Baylor get beat twice last week, both games at home. But we have some really good teams in college hoops this year. We've got Duke, we've got Gonzaga, UCLA, Arizona, Purdue. But I know back in that DC area, sometimes you see some teams kind of in that on that East Coast, maybe some games that we don't always see. Is there anyone standing out to you in college hoops this year that you're kind of keeping an eye on?
Well, definitely not in this area. Now, I see a lot of Maryland. Was watching them, but after they fired their coach, they had a lot of talent, but they suck. But the thing I've seen though is Duke. Duke looks pretty good, of course. Once again, so they in this area on the entire East Coast, Duke is really on the team out here. But it's worth a darn.
Are they going to be able to send Coach K out with the championship?
No, but they're not going to win it all. I think it's probably going to be Gonzaga or Baylor. I still think, I don't know what's happened these past two games with them, but I'm thinking one of those three, probably Baylor, Duke, Gonzaga are my favorites.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And it's such a long season. And, you know, sometimes it's 18-year-old kids just sleeping one night and they just get knocked off and that kind of thing. Let's shift over to the NBA, because the NBA season is right about the halfway point. There have been a few kind of, I guess, mild surprises. The Phoenix Suns are rolling. We thought they would be pretty good. Raymond, the Golden State Warriors seem to be back. They struggled last year. They didn't make the playoffs, but they look like they might be a problem now. They get Klay Thompson back. I know the team is a little bit older. Can the Warriors actually contend for it all again?
Unfortunately, they are officially back. And this was even without Klay Thompson. They were rolling. So having them back, but you know, again, there's only one ball.
Right.
But I do expect Golden State, unfortunately, I don't know who's going to beat them.
That's the problem.
Yeah, who's going to score enough points? And then they actually defend a little bit too. So it's coming out of the West. It's definitely coming out of the West. I get Phoenix or Golden State. And who knows what the Nuggets might look back when Murray gets back. Who knows what? Because we're starting to play a little better too. We're not defending that well, but yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You're back on the East Coast. How big of a believer are you in the Brooklyn Nets? I know Kevin Durant is now out for a few weeks with that knee injury, but could that team do anything? Do we trust James Harden to show up in the playoffs? Do we trust Kyrie Irving to just show up, just come to games even? Do we trust anything about the Brooklyn Nets?
No, they're just not cohesive. They're just not. They got the players. They got a lot of talent. You would think they'd be able to match like Golden State, you know, and talent-wise they do, but they're just not they're not a team.
Yeah,
you know, Golden State plays really well together. I don't feel like Brooklyn. They don't play well. But because they're so talented, they once they're healthy, I expect them to come out of the East.
They should. They're better than everyone else over there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are better than them. But you know, Milwaukee's a team.
You're right.
When they, so Miami's a team. They play team ball. So those type of squads can give them problems. But I still expect Brooklyn to come out.
Yeah, I do too. Raymond, I want to switch gears quickly to college football. We just had the college football playoff. We had the national championship. The final game was Georgia versus Alabama. It's an all SEC final. Is that good for the sport? Do we need like some better teams in there from all over the country, or is that just how college football is now? It's just SEC every year, all the time.
Well, that's how it is. We definitely need some diversity, some different squads in there. And actually we had an opportunity to have a different squad in there, but they still insisted on keeping Alabama. It's the people, it's the pollers.
Yeah.
They keep voting Alabama. They could have put another team in there. But unfortunately, other teams are not getting the shot. Baylor didn't get a chance. Cincinnati got in there. Baylor, Notre Dame, I ended up losing their bowl games, and they probably would have lost anyhow. But because of they're not in the SEC, they weren't even given an opportunity. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's
Are you in favor of expanding that playoff? Would you rather see 8, 12? They're even talking about maybe 16 teams in. Are you in favor of that much expansion?
Yes. Give teams a shot. Give teams a shot to, you got to play. Games should be decided on the field, and you have to give these teams a shot. They can't just some pollsters or writers or voters decide who goes in. You have to put more teams in there and give more teams a shot.
How many would you like to see?
I think 8 is, it's football, so it's pretty physical. You can't add that many more games, but I think 8 is a good number.
I do too. I like that number. I think if you get into 12 or 16, you're probably getting some 2 or even 3 lost teams, aren't you?
Yeah. And even with 8 this year, we would have had 2 lost teams for sure.
Yeah. Are you a fan of this open transfer stuff that we're having in college sports now? Are we really trusting kids just to transfer whenever they want to?
I think that the thought that that's what people say, that we're trusting kids to make their own decisions, like, duh. Well, why wouldn't they be trusted? This is America. They're 18, they can vote, they should be able to go where they want to go. It's all about the money. If they want to transfer, maybe we give a limit on how many times they can transfer. Yeah. But if coaches can go, everybody else can do it. The kids should be able to. Now it's completely screwed things up.
Right.
Completely just. But hey, that's the way it should be. They should be able to transfer.
I would like to see, like you said, I would like to see them bring some limitations in. You can't just transfer every year all the time. You have to have some sense about it. But the problem is you have some genuinely probably evil people pulling these kids. That's my concern. You've got some boosters. You've got some people promising money. You've got a lot of nonsense going on at that level. I would like them to put a few limits in there and let's help these kids, because this is all about the kids, right? We're trying to help kids.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, it's a re-recruiting. The recruiting, once you commit, probably your freshman year, the recruiting just starts all over again.
Right.
Of people trying to get you to come to their school. Yeah, it really opens it up.
Are we at a point now where we should just probably have the SEC and then everyone else is just playing like intramurals? Like, should we just give it up with college football nationwide?
I don't know how to make other conferences stronger. You think that the Big Ten, you look, Ohio State, Michigan, they look strong, but then they play an SEC team and it's like, my gosh, it's And the same with the Pac-12 and the Big 12. I just don't know how you consistently make teams top to bottom as strong as the SEC. Even like Kentucky,
right,
and Arkansas, like they're athletes. When you look at it, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's a different level.
Yeah.
Well, and you wonder, because in the SEC, you have like the strength and conditioning coach getting $1 million.
Right.
Those other conferences are going to have to pony up or they can forget it, I think, because that's how the SEC rolls.
Right. And ESPN and their television contracts, it's kind of set in stone for a while, because they're going to continue to get all this money. And I don't know how maybe other conferences just in recruiting and can field really good teams somehow. That's the only way to maybe flip the system, is you have to have a really, really good team somehow, maybe a great quarterback in one of these smaller schools, and you end up beating the SEC squad a few years. You have a good squad, good program, and that can kind of flip, kind of upset the system, I guess. Because the system is. Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. Some of you might not know this. A lot of people don't know this, but Raymond is a huge fan of football stadiums. In fact, he travels all over the country. He likes to visit different places, different stadiums. I'm going to ask you about the NFL in a minute, but what college football venue is your favorite that you've been to?
Gosh. Well, it would definitely be Neyland Stadium in Tennessee. Just it's so humongous, and
Yeah.
And just when you see the area, it's like, where are all these people coming from? They're coming it's just amazing that many people in orange.
Right.
Yeah, so that one off the top, yeah, that's definitely favorite
Well,
I've been to.
and right there on the river is running right there. It's gorgeous. It's such a, like you said, it's almost kind of surreal. You're looking at the stadium going, they put this giant thing here.
Yeah, it's really, really amazing. So off the top of my head, yeah, that's definitely. But I mean, I've got a lot of my list. A&M, I would love to go there, and Alabama, just a couple. But yeah, great stadiums. SEC, there we go. Yeah.
Raymond, let's move over to that NFL. And I want to talk about what we saw during Wild Card Weekend. But some of our listeners might not be familiar with you. We only managed to get you to visit us like once or twice a year on the Dose, so they might not know just how deep your passion for your team, the Buffalo Bills, runs. You've been a devout fan of the Bills since like the days of Kelly and Thomas and Reed and Bruce Smith. Who is your favorite Buffalo Bill of all time?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, it'd have to be Bruce.
That's what I thought.
Bruce Smith, yeah. Bruce Smith is definitely, is my favorite Buffalo Bill.
Why is that?
He was every game he was going to make a play. And if he wasn't making a play, he was causing the attention the other teams used to pay, the details that they used to try to. It was amazing. Every game he was a problem. So yeah, without a doubt, Bruce Smith.
Raymond, who sounds more white, you or Bruce Smith? You know I throw one in there. Just like you have done in college football, though, you've visited a number of NFL stadiums. Which one is your favorite? And I know you're going to say Buffalo because you love that crowd. But which stadiums are your favorite in the NFL?
Well, of course, Buffalo. Make my pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Other than that, Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Kansas City, that's a great place. I seen the Bills beat them there. Many years ago, we beat them there. We beat them in Kansas City several times. But Arrowhead would be probably my second.
Okay. You have endured some difficult years as a Bills fan. You've been through Super Bowl losses. You've been through the Music City Miracle. You've been through JP Lossman. It isn't always easy being a Bills fan. Raymond, have you ever intentionally tried to hurt yourself after like a particularly rough loss?
Well, I remember the Music City Miracle was a tough time for me.
What happened after that game? Because that was a weird play on a kickoff return. They throw the ball to the other side of the field. They return it for the touchdown. What did you do after that game?
Well, I just I needed a drink afterwards, so I had a bottle of wine.
Okay, so you drank some wine.
Drank a bottle of wine, and then I just thought, I just didn't want another day.
Right. So what did you do?
Well, I placed the hammer. at the bottom of the stairs, and I was going to leap and jump on the hammer. One of my friends stopped me before I was able to do it. But I just was so unhappy that day. So yeah, it was tough.
You thought jumping on the hammer you could end it all.
Yeah, but luckily I didn't, and I'm here, and I've endured. I'm here to see better times.
Yes, you are. You are. Raymond, before we get to the actual NFL playoff games themselves, there are now, right now, 7 franchises that are looking for a new head coach. I'm going to make you a head coach. You are the top candidate for a head coaching job. Okay. Here are your choices. Where would you want to go? Chicago Bears, Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, or Jacksonville Jaguars. Which job would you, a top head coach, take?
I actually kind of gave this a little thought. Me being the top candidate, that would be Brian Flores.
I would agree with that.
And so for me, I said it was going to be I would want either Chicago or Jacksonville.
Interesting.
It was kind of a toss-up between one of those two. If you twist my arm, I'm going to say Jacksonville.
Wow. That's really interesting. I don't disagree with you. Both of those places have good, we think, young quarterbacks. That's a huge step. So I could totally understand that. Chicago just seems like they're so hard on their quarterbacks. You just don't know, is Justin Fields really going to be able to overcome that history?
Yeah. And, just thinking like for Brian Flores, I was just thinking that Chicago and that style, they already play I would think he would be a great fit with the style that he would want to play, really aggressive in Chicago and the quarterback. I don't know how good Fields is, really, but that one or Jacksonville. The other jobs,
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I would agree with that. Well, and they all have a major problem, or they don't have a quarterback. I mean, you look at Denver. They've got ownership issues. They need a new head coach. They need a quarterback. Minnesota, they're going to need a new head coach. Kirk Cousins, that contract is a mess. Miami has that owner. That owner's an idiot.
Yeah, just kind of just shows up and, well, what do you say? He's all right, let's get rid of him. It's kind of it's like, who is this dude?
Right.
But I'm grateful. I enjoy kicking Miami, squishing the fish every time we play them.
Sure.
So I know it's going to set them back another couple of years. So that's great. But some of these jobs, actually New York, if I'm coach, maybe I want a new coordinator and a new guru. Danny Dimes is not bad.
No, he's not. He's a big, strong kid. Maybe the Giants are the place.
Yeah. And, New York. So maybe that might be a third. Maybe that might come third on my list is the Giant job.
Of those coaching candidates that are out there, and you talked about Brian Flores, who I would agree with you. I think he's the top candidate. There's a couple candidates out there that I don't think are getting that much talk. Is there anyone besides Flores that you look at and you say, that would be a candidate, that would be a guy that I would go get? I mean, Doug Peterson, Eric Bieniemy, Dan Quinn, like who's out there that you would be impressed with?
Well, of course, selfishly, I would hate to lose him, but Brian Daboll, my offensive coordinator, really has some a good mind, and him being under McDermott, I think he's gotten a real good structure,
right?
And he's been under a lot of people, so I think he's a bright mind, and I think he'd make a good coach.
I'm really getting nervous who the Broncos are going to hire.
Probably a Kubiak Jr. or something idiotic. I don't know. I don't think that Denver job is that great of a job.
I don't either. I would agree with you. It depends on who the owner is.
Yeah.
And who knows who that's going to be.
Right. Although they do have a few good pieces.
Yeah.
The Broncos do. They have a couple good young pieces, but they still need a quarterback.
Bad.
But it's a great franchise, great, fan base.
Yeah.
You got Broncos here. Look, there's stuff behind you. You're
right.
Right. So.
Yeah, they just have so many questions that they have to have answered. That would not be that is not an A+ job. There are a lot of things that you've got to correct. Okay, let's take a look at those NFL wildcard games that took place over the weekend. And first off, Raymond, we had expanded playoffs this year. We got an extra team from each conference getting in. I like the idea, but we got some bad games. Was that just a fluke, or are those lower seeds just not capable of hanging in there?
Those 7 seeds, I mean, anything can happen. We've had a topsy-turvy year, all kinds of things that happen. So I don't have a problem with the expanded format. I just don't like well, I was about to say I don't like just having the one having the only bye. But actually that's kind of that's good too, because why reward the 2? So actually that's probably a good thing also, that only reward the one with the bye. So I like the expanded. We have had a bad couple games, but I feel like every playoffs we have a couple bad. Yeah.
Well, and how close were we to getting like Chargers instead of Pittsburgh? And it would have been a very, very different feel to it if we had. So I think it was just kind of that fluky thing. The downside to the expanded playoffs for me is we get way worse officiating because there's just not enough good officials.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Raider game, the whistle.
Yeah, the whistle. Let's talk about that, in fact, right now, because the Cincinnati Bengals won their first game since George Bush Sr. was in office. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders 26-19 in a game that the Raiders are probably feeling like the NFL is out to get them. There was that play that it was a mistake by the officials. If you missed it in the third quarter, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, he rolls right to avoid pressure. He throws the ball from close to the sideline, but there was an inadvertent whistle by an official who thought he stepped out of bounds. He really wasn't even that close. The ball is caught by Tyler Boyd for a touchdown. It gave the Bengals a 20-6 lead. The play counted. The Raiders were mad. I get it. But did you think the Raiders got ripped off, or was that just a bad call? Did the Raiders just not make enough plays? What did you think about how that game went?
Well, definitely the Raiders did not make enough plays.
Yeah.
But I think in that situation, I was an official at one time on the field.
You were.
What happens, he accidentally blew his whistle, but the fact is the guy really had just caught the ball. He was wide open and he was going to catch the ball, and it was going to be a touchdown. Now, the mistake that was made was the official, he accidentally blew his whistle, but it really had no effect on the play. It really didn't.
I would agree with that.
I think the NFL already said that crew, that's going to be their last game, that whole crew.
Yeah.
That's a good decision. You punish the official, but it was going to be a touchdown either way. But I just think per rule, I think the rule is that whatever happens, if a whistle is blown and someone reacts to it, whatever happens, you're supposed to replay the down. So by rule, I guess they should have done it, but it really replayed. By rule, they should have replayed the down, but it was a touchdown.
Yeah, it was. And when you watch the play and you hear the whistle, like you said, the whistle itself did not affect the play. He was open. He caught it. The Raiders didn't have time to react to it anyway. So it was a touchdown. I really thought, watching the Bengals, I thought they were like a year or two away. Joe Burrow's pretty good, isn't he?
Joe Burrow is pretty good. He has some good weapons.
Yeah.
As well. He helps to make them, good. He has some good weapons. They're pretty good. But I'm not convinced still. But, yeah, they're about a year away, and I like his swag, and Cincinnati's a good team.
I wish they had a better offensive line, because I think that's going to be his undoing eventually.
Right. And that's why I was suspect on them. I thought the Raiders were going to give them problems, because I thought they were going to be able to get after him a bit. But that's going to be a problem next week, because Tennessee is going to get after him.
That's going to be a really, really interesting game. Okay, in the second game of the weekend, Raymond, you've been waiting for it. The New England Patriots went to Buffalo to face the Bills. I know there were a lot of people taking the Patriots. They thought Bill Belichick is going to have something for Buffalo. He's going to coach them up. That rookie quarterback is special. Raymond, last week we did a draft on the Dose here with a few friends, and guess who got picked dead last out of 14 teams drafting quarterbacks? Mac Jones. I realized Bill Belichick, kind of pasted that team together and made them look better than they were. They had nothing for Buffalo. The Bills smacked the Patriots 47-17 in a game that honestly didn't even feel that close. The Bills offense was perfect on the day. On their drives for the day, they went touchdown, touchdown, end of half, touchdown, 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 end of game. No turnovers, no field goals. Really impressive win by the Buffalo Bills. Here's the question I have for you. Were you happier with your offense or your defense?
Offense. It's more expected.
Yeah.
I expected that from the defense. Well, I expected good things from the offense. I didn't expect to have a touchdown every drive.
Right.
You have to remember, though, last game against the Patriots, we didn't punt then either.
That's true.
So we just didn't convert. So we kicked a couple field goals, and so I was surprised that we scored a touchdown every single drive. That was the only surprise. The beat down, the way the defense manhandled them, that was not a surprise.
No, it wasn't a surprise to me. Hey, that snowy game with the cold and they only threw it 3 times. That was a fluke. That was a weird situation. And hey, all credit to Belichick, whatever. That was a fluke though. And the Bills proved it this last week. They punched the Patriots in the mouth.
Yeah. It was smoke and mirrors. The game where they were able to beat us. And it's the one weak spot that I think we might have is sometimes against the run, and it has to be a specific type of running back, i.e., Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And why I didn't want the Colts in the end so bad, because I didn't want to face Taylor.
Yeah.
But so those type of running backs sometimes can give us problems. So the only thing that we needed to do with the Patriots was stop the run. And we figured that out last game. So I expected a real beatdown because I knew that we'd stop the run and they'd have to throw the ball. And he's not a passer.
No.
And even if you are a passer, you're going to have a problem passing in Buffalo against that defense.
That secondary is really good.
Yeah. The interception by Hyde, running, I mean, what range?
Right. Yeah.
The play that he made. And, the fact that we lost Tre'Davious White midway through the season, we really, as a defense, haven't lost the beat. Our pass defense is still number 1 in the league, and we consistently don't allow teams to throw on us. So I knew that the Patriots, once we stopped the run, they weren't going to be able to throw the ball on our defense.
Raymond, if Josh Allen plays at that level, I don't know if anybody can beat you.
That was his best game as a pro.
Yeah.
And it was scary.
Yeah, it was.
Like, wow. It's like, oh, he's back there. Oh, there's nowhere to throw. I'm gone. And it was quick. Whenever he took out, I just loved the way whenever he decided to go, it was quick. It was no second. There was no, or maybe if he wanted to throw, he was real patient. It was a good mix of just being decisive. And then the arm talent and the accuracy that continues to get better and better. It's just amazing. He's an amazing athlete, man. We're, Clint, I've gone so long.
Yes, you have.
Lospins and Todd Collins and
EJ Manuels.
There's been like 10 quarterbacks. It's been 20 years, man. This, like, my quarterback is amazing.
Yes, he is.
Josh Allen is amazing. And I so deserve it. So, watching him against New England, man, it was just like, I had half a bottle of wine, really enjoyed myself tonight. I was just no yelling at the screen. I just kind of knew what was happening, that we would put a beat down on them. And, also with this game, out of all the teams, this is one team that we could absolutely not lose this game.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to find a way.
we could not. This game we could absolutely not lose at home in the playoffs to the Patriots. Like what? We could not lose this game.
Can I tell you what watching Josh Allen reminds me of? And you're already going to know the answer before I say it. It reminds me of watching a young John Elway. It is big, huge arm, so much athleticism. When he figures out how to stop making the dumb play and he just starts to, like you said, drop back, decision, and here's what I'm going to do. You're watching something special there.
Yeah. So continue to keep him healthy. And, he was asked about running around and taking big hits, and this is the NFL. You can't do that. And his answer was, Josh said, well, I'm young, and right now I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm feeling pretty good, I'm going to play how I play. And I just love that answer. I love his attitude. And, he slides sometimes. So, yeah, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier about quarterback.
I don't blame you. You know what's funny? And just kind of off the subject, there is a really, really prevalent thinking right now in Denver that we could have had Josh Allen. What people don't realize, we would have broke Josh Allen too, because that's how jacked up this franchise is right now.
Yeah, you guys definitely had a run where you were just killing quarterbacks.
Yes, and that's what we would have done with him. He would have been better, but we would have broke him too, because that's just how jacked up we are. Moving to Sunday, the Philadelphia Eagles were the lowest qualifying seed in the NFC, so they got to face the number 2 seed and defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And honestly, the Eagles looked like a 7 seed. They turned it over 3 times. They committed too many penalties. The score was 31-0 before the Eagles even got on the board. Raymond, the Buccaneers looked better than I think people expected, but it was hard for me to tell because the Eagles looked so bad. Which was it? Was it good Buccaneers or bad Eagles?
Yeah, I think it was bad Eagles.
Yeah.
I think most playoff teams would have beat the Eagles the same way.
You're probably right.
Yeah. So they're the 7th seed. They probably maybe I'd rather see Minnesota there or the Saints.
The Saints would have been interesting, yeah.
The Saints definitely, because they give the Buccaneers all kind of fits.
For sure, they did not want to see the Saints.
No, they did not. So that's maybe the NFC's Chargers.
Yeah.
Whereas kind of the Steelers kind of snuck in there. Well, I guess the Eagles did sneak in there, but they just weren't that great of a team. They just got in.
When you look at Tom Brady right now, he's not capable of doing this again, is he?
He's a year younger than me.
You're right.
And it looks like he could go another 3 years.
Yeah, it does.
He looks good. He takes care of his body, and he's not getting hit. And if he's gonna get hit, he just throws. He doesn't even take sacks. He just throws the ball. He's just like, hell with it.
Yeah.
He's beyond smart, and the way he plays, he can play a few more years. He looks great. Tampa's a problem.
If that defense gets healthy and they could get any kind of a running game, I think you're right. I think they could be a problem.
Yeah, if they can run the ball consistently a bit, they can. They definitely can be a problem. But also, though, they need to get healthy.
Yeah,
they need to get healthy.
They're banged up.
He needs more options.
Yep.
Losing Brown actually really hurts them.
Yeah, and because Godwin's already out.
Yeah. So
speaking of running the football, in the biggest upset of the weekend, it was the San Francisco 49ers beating the Dallas Cowboys 23-17, and it was in wild fashion. The Niners held Dallas to just 77 rushing yards. The Cowboys were called for 14 penalties for 89 yards. On the final play of the game, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott decided to scramble and run with just 14 seconds left and no timeouts. The clock ran out. Game over. Raymond, how are either of these coordinators, Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn, being considered for a coaching job right now?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Out of all the games, this is the one that I picked the 49ers to win this game.
I did too.
I just felt like the 49ers were really physical.
Yep.
And we're going to smack them.
Yes, and they did.
I didn't think that that they would hold them to 79 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that the Cowboys were going to be able to run that. Yeah, I didn't. It's about what I saw happening.
I would agree.
Yeah, the game went about as expected. The 49ers are really physical, and they're going to give Green Bay problems.
Yes, they are.
The way they play, it's just a very physical, hit you in the mouth, solid, up front type defense, and the 49ers are a problem. And if Garoppolo can, he's going to need to make some plays here and there. If he can do that consistently, watch out. Yeah.
And can he just not be an idiot?
Right. That's what it is. Don't be an idiot. But the 49ers, if they can play their style of football, and you can't run the ball, and they're a dark horse.
Should Mike McCarthy be fired? I know that sounds crazy.
Well, I know Jared's not happy.
Right.
which is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the Cowboys have all the pieces,
They have everything.
But what's new? The Cowboys always have all the pieces. So it's just hilarious that it happens again. That they're, I guess I got to give them another year, but they're not a physical. They're not. They run the ball. They have all the pieces, but they're not physical.
You're right. Does Tony Romo enjoy when they lose, by the way? Because I'm listening to him. He's up there giggling. He can't help himself. He's so happy. I just feel like Tony Romo loves it when they get beat.
I think he was quite entertained. He did sound entertained. It was entertaining. I think it was entertaining for everybody watching them get kicked. And then, even in the end, with the last, it's like, they've really been getting kicked all game.
Yeah.
And this prayer. And then it's just like the awareness, like, Dak, what are you doing? Like, who authorized this? Like, what is this? It's just foolishness. It's hilarious. I was giggling the entire time.
I was too. It made me think Kellen Moore called that play to get Mike McCarthy fired so he could get the head job.
No. And this nonsense of him being a head coach and this, I guess it's going to happen.
I guess.
But, if another hot shot, no experience head coach gets another job, like, i.e. Charger coach, that idiot. It's just like, yeah. So definitely entertaining. Go ahead.
You're dead. Hey, Aaron Rodgers to me is the MVP, and I will go on record. I would vote for Aaron Rodgers right now, but Raymond, Deebo Samuel might be the next guy in line.
He is a monster,
isn't he?
I would so love him. I would so love to have him in that team.
Oh, so big and strong, and what can't he do?
Yeah, he's a running back. He's a running back, wide receiver. He blocks. He's physical. He brings the attitude. He's the perfect 49er for what the style of what they want to do, the way they use him. Yeah.
I love that kid. I would love to have him. It's also struck me that Jerry Jones paid over $1 billion for that amazing stadium, and the scoreboard is too low, and there's a hole in the roof that the sun comes in and blinds his own players.
I never noticed that. Yeah, that's true.
The punt hits the scoreboard.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, it does. It's happened more than once now.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right. In the final game on Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs did what they kind of do every week. They started slow. They look sloppy. They turned the ball over, but then they turn it on. They crushed the Pittsburgh Steelers 42-21. The Chiefs are crazy talented, but Raymond, they have some bad habits. They do some things. It's almost like they've just gotten so used to being able to win with their talent. They're getting away with some things that I don't know that they can keep getting away with.
Yeah. Mahomes has some Josh Allen moments.
Yep.
You know, he has those goofy moments sometimes, and then also Andy Reid has some cutesy moments.
You're right.
Where they just try to do just a little too much. Like, why? It's just too extra. Like they're outthinking themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and also on defense, they do some cutesy stuff too,
Yep.
where they outthink themselves. So maybe they've just gotten so good, and sometimes they just, the Chiefs get too cute sometimes.
Well, and it's funny because I watch Patrick Mahomes, and like you said, sometimes he makes a play that is a simple play more complicated. And they're like, why is he doing that? And I'm like, because he learned it from watching Andy Reid. He watched him. That's where he got it.
Yeah. It's some, it's like basketball. It's some hot dogging. They do hot dogging in the Chiefs, and that's part of their problem. And it's, it's probably part of why the turnovers, and they're a little loose with the ball sometimes because it's just a little too cute. So, a physical team can be problematic for them too.
Yep. I would agree with that 100%. All right. Now we can't cover the Rams Cardinals game because that is going to take place tonight. That's fine. We'll kind of BS our way through this, but looking forward to next week, we've got Cincinnati going to Tennessee. I think Cincinnati can have a little success, but Tennessee, like you talked about, is a physical football team. Cincinnati's going to have their hands full next week.
Yeah. And we're expecting Derrick Henry back.
Oh, that's going to be a problem.
I don't believe they played this season. I expect Cincinnati to have really big problems. Tennessee's going to get after them, and Cincinnati's not going to score more than 20 points. They might get their.
Yeah, that's very possible. I could see Tennessee putting this away, especially having the week off to get healthy. Getting Derrick Henry back is going to be a huge lift. I could see this being a blowout. Next game up, San Francisco goes to Green Bay. Like we talked about, San Francisco can't run the ball on Green Bay too, can they?
Yeah, they can.
Right.
But Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the football.
Yes, he is. Well,
right. And I think they're gonna slow him down, but they're not gonna stop Aaron Rodgers, I don't think. So I just think they just don't have quite enough offense. I don't think they'll be able to run the ball that well and control. I don't think. So I just think that it's just still too much offense from Green Bay.
You got Green Bay advancing?
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we will have the winner, Arizona or the Rams, going to Tampa. Do you like either one of those teams going to Tampa to face Tom Brady?
I really think this is going to be tonight's going to be like a slobber fest.
Yeah.
These teams are going to beat the crap out of each other.
Agreed.
So whoever wins next week is going to lose. Whoever wins,
right, because you're going to get beat up?
Yeah. They're going to lay it out tonight, and whoever wins this game is going to lose next week.
Okay, so. And I'm right there with you. Now we get to the big one. Kansas City is who they are. Raymond, if Buffalo does not make those just bonehead mistakes, Kansas City is going to have their hands full. I've got the Bills going into KC and getting a win.
Yeah, we don't turn the ball over.
Nope.
Kansas City doesn't have the type of running attack that's going to give us problems. So as long as we go in there and handle the run, don't turn the ball over, and Hill, just control Hill.
Control Hill.
That's it.
Travis Kelce isn't what he used to be either.
He isn't what he used to be. He's still a problem.
Still good.
Yep. Yeah, I don't. He's had a big game. He's had big games against us, but I just don't. I don't fear him.
No, not like we used to. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't fear him.
Josh Allen has to come out and play a good mistake-free football game. And if so, I like Buffalo going to Kansas City.
Yeah, and I like our new little running game that we're
I do too.
giving Singletary the ball. I've always liked Singletary. So giving him the ball, it's really opened up our offense more. And now we've gotten healthy. Everybody's back. Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis, Beasley. Now everybody's healthy. Yeah, we're humming. The offensive line is really playing well.
Yeah, they are.
He's had all day to throw. The past few weeks he has. So things are looking good. We're playing our best football right now.
That's where you want to be. Looking forward now, last week we dissected the playoffs. We broke down who we think is going to go to the Super Bowl. Looking forward now for you, who do you have advancing out of the NFC? If it came down to Green Bay versus Tampa, like we think it could, who would you have going to the Super Bowl out of the NFC?
Yeah, I think Green Bay. I would take Green Bay. Them being at home, of course, it won't affect Tom. Tom can play anywhere. But sure. I just think if they were to go up there with the quarterbacks canceling each other out, I think Green Bay's better. I think Green Bay's just has a better team. They play better together, and I would take Green Bay to beat Tampa.
Well, and I took Tampa, but here's my concern about taking Tampa. I took Tampa back in August. My concern right now is it seems like Green Bay is getting healthy. Tampa Bay still has a lot of people out. That would be my biggest concern.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in taking Green Bay, I mean, you're betting against Tom Brady.
Right.
Which, we know
hasn't gone well.
Yeah. So it could very well just easily be Tom Brady in the Super Bowl again. But he would have to, this receiver corps, because they're not getting healthy. I mean, there's no one else.
No, you're right. That's all they have.
Yeah. So these other players are going to have to step up, and he's going to have to mold them. Because I've seen in the last game, I saw some, what would you call them? Miscommunications with wide receivers. Yeah. He's throwing this way, they're going that way. It was a lot of that going on. And it was I seen Tampa the prior week. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
So he's having a lot of that going on with these new wide receivers that haven't played as much. So Tampa's going to have to step up because he's playing with, he still has Evans and he has Gronk, but the other people they're new.
Yep.
They're stepping up. Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the AFC side. We have it looking like it's going to be Buffalo going to Tennessee. If that is the case, Raymond, who's going to the Super Bowl?
Well, of course, it'd be us. It'd be the Buffalo Bills. But this would be our weakness in that this is the type of running back that gives us problems. And he gave us problems last time. He gave us big problems last time we played them.
Yeah.
But in that game, we should have beat them. We turned the ball over against Tennessee.
Can I throw out a theory to you?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Was the Patriot game that Monday night game? They run the ball 3 times or pass the ball 3 times. Was that exactly what you guys needed to eventually beat Tennessee on the road?
Oh yeah. What I tell you, that pissed us off.
It should have.
As a fan, and I don't know if you've seen the interview with Michael Hyde and Jordan Poyer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The whole team was just pissed off McDermott, and it was just so irritating. And then with Belichick, he was gloating and laughing, and it was just as a whole organization, just a really piss of just irritating. And the Patriots. So yeah, I think that definitely prepared us to really get after the run.
Yep.
And it's since then. These teams trying to run on us, the Jets were I know the Jets are terrible, but they have been running the ball well these past few weeks. And the way we attack the run against them and Atlanta, they do all these little cute things with Patterson and Atlanta runs the ball okay. They were trying to do these things. The way we attacked the run against them, and then playing the Patriots these 2 times, playing them again, and the way we attacked the run, stop the run. If you can't run the ball against us, good luck throwing against us.
Right.
We welcome that. We welcome, because we want to play this nickel as our base. We play a nickel as that's why we can't play stop the damn run, because we're playing a nickel all the damn time. But we want you to throw against us, because that pass defense is we're the best in the league, and it's serious. And when we beat you, we beat out of you. We don't have close games where we kind of beat you. No, the Bills pound you out. When we beat you, we beat you. So, yeah.
Raymond, you've got Buffalo versus Green Bay in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Back in August, I picked Buffalo versus Tampa in the Super Bowl. I'm going to stick with that pick because I've been on it too long now. I just got to ride with it. I think either way, it would be a highly entertaining Super Bowl. We are going to see what these next round of games bring us. But I want to tell you, because I don't even have to ask you your Super Bowl pick. I already know who you're going to pick to win the Super Bowl. But how nervous would you be if Buffalo actually gets there?
Well, I was pretty nervous well, you just get worked up for the game, but
yes, you do.
I would be pretty, I'm expecting to be there, and I'd be nervous, but I'd be expecting a win.
Okay. Well, I picked you to win, so we're going to see how that all goes. But I want to thank you for coming in today, making some time for the Daily Dose, stopping by. We always enjoy your visits. We always enjoy your insight. We always enjoy your opinions. You bring it every single time we have you on. Thank you for stopping by and sharing your thoughts on the NFL playoffs. We're going to be watching. We're going to be looking for your Buffalo Bills.
Well, thank you. You made a good choice. I expect the Bills to continue. We just played the best game of the season. We're humming, and happy Martin Luther King Day. Go Bills.